Today, I will tell you about the movie Mine 2016. Mike Stevens is a U.S. Marine sniper, and his partner Tommy Madison is a radio operator and spotter. They are on a mission in North Africa, assigned to eliminate the leader of a criminal organization. However, things don't go as planned. The target arrives at the meeting point, but along with him come Bedouins, who are holding a wedding ceremony for one of their women. Mike hesitates, unsure if this is truly the person they are looking for. The command insists on taking the shot, but Mike doesn't pull the trigger. Through his scope, he sees the bride and groom. As they step aside, Mike loses sight of the target and begins to doubt whether he had the right person. As he lifts his rifle to respond to Tommy's objections, Mike fails to notice that the sun reflects off his scope, giving away their position. This alerts the target's bodyguards, who open fire. The two soldiers are forced to flee, and a sudden sandstorm helps them escape. After contacting command, Mike and Tommy are ordered to head toward the evacuation point, a Berber village several kilometers away. On the way, Tommy talks about his young son waiting for him at home, while Mike thinks about the woman he never had the courage to propose to. However, the sandstorm blows away a warning sign that reads, "Caution, mines," and drops it right at Mike's feet. He notices a toy soldier buried in the sand. Tommy assumes the sign is old and not worth worrying about. As they cross the plain, Tommy steps on a mine and is blown up, while Mike, in his attempt to help, steps on another. Mike hears the click of the detonator and freezes in place. Tommy suffers severe injuries. His legs are blown off, and he is bleeding profusely, unable to comprehend what is happening. Mike urges him to inject himself with morphine so that he can reach his backpack with the radio. Tommy follows the advice, but due to the shock and pain, he struggles to communicate properly when calling for help. Unable to bear the agony, Tommy decides to end his own life. Before doing so, he asks Mike to survive and tell his son that he loved him. Mike is in despair. Using shoelaces, a hatchet, and a rifle strap, he crafts a hook to drag the radio backpack toward him. However, the batteries are dead, and the spare ones are in Tommy's pocket. He connects the radio to a solar panel to recharge it. Once communication is restored, Mike reports his situation to command. Command informs him that evacuation will only be possible in 52 hours. The military unit was ambushed and cannot arrive immediately. Mike starts the countdown. He is running out of food and water, but that is not his biggest problem. Another sandstorm is approaching. He wraps his face in protective fabric, braces himself against his rifle, planted in the sand, and holds onto the radio backpack. However, the storm is too powerful. He loses the backpack. Once the storm passes, he finds Tommy's body nearby and retrieves the spare batteries from his pocket. There is no more water. The sun is merciless, and Mike is losing his strength. He fires a few shots into the air before placing the gun to his temple. At that moment, a local Berber appears. Mike begs him for water and the radio from the backpack, but the Berber simply laughs and walks away. With no other option, Mike prepares to drink his own urine. But suddenly, a little girl appears over the hill, carrying a flask of water. She gives him a drink and shows him a toy soldier identical to the one he found in the desert. Mike asks her to bring him the radio, but the girl silently runs away. Night falls. Mike realizes that if he falls asleep or loses consciousness from exhaustion, the mine will detonate. He lights a small fire to keep warm. In the middle of the night, the eerie cries of predators echo through the desert. They keep Mike awake, even after his fire dies out. He starts shooting and kills several animals. Then, turning on his flashlight, he sees jackals dragging Tommy's body away. Mike begins to hallucinate. Memories from his childhood resurface, his father beating his mother. He even starts fighting with his imaginary father. Morning comes. Mike is barely standing. The Berber returns. He tells Mike that he is a lucky man. He survived a night with predators and still hasn't stepped off the mine. The Berber advises him to free himself, take a step forward, and move on, but Mike takes it as mockery. A brief conversation follows. Mike asks the Berber to bring him the radio. After finishing his philosophical musings, the Berber fulfills the request and leaves. The hours under the scorching sun drag on painfully slow. Exhausted and dehydrated, Mike begins to hallucinate again. In his visions, Tommy appears alive, rising from the sand and speaking to him. A cold, dark night descends. This time, Mike has neither fire nor the strength to fight off the predators. Jackals slowly emerge from the shadows. He weakly fires at them until his pistol runs out of bullets. Then the beast pounced on him, biting his arms and grabbing his legs. Flashes of memories rush through Mike's mind. He recalls how he stood up for a waitress in a bar, taking down 4 burly rangers. That waitress later became his girlfriend. Regaining consciousness, Mike realizes that he has killed all the jackals with his knife in a desperate struggle. Throughout the night in his visions, Tommy was by his side. In the morning, the radio comes back to life. Command informs him that the evacuation is delayed. The military won't arrive for another 17 hours. In despair, Mike throws away the watch he was using to track the rescue countdown. He begins hallucinating again. Talking to Jenny, his girlfriend, he apologizes, tells her he loves her, and loses consciousness. Suddenly, the Berber reappears. He holds Mike up, treats his wounds, and tells him that he is truly fortunate to still be alive. They engage in another conversation. Mike learns that the Berber himself once stepped on a mine. He and his daughter used to dig mines out of the sand and sell them to guerrillas. Instead of real detonators, the girl would place tin cans inside. One day, a mine exploded. His daughter died, and he lost his leg. Now he walks with a wooden prosthetic. The Berber confesses that he was the one who brought Mike water. The girl was only a hallucination. After losing his leg, he too wanted to die. But in his darkest moment, he realized he had to keep moving forward. Now he has a family, a wife and 2 children. The Berber makes it clear that Mike must also break free and move forward. He hands Mike a drink, warning him that it will cause visions, but afterward he will feel better. Then the Berber leaves, leaving the exhausted Mike alone with his hallucinations. Once again, Mike sees his father, drunk and enraged, beating his mother before turning on him. He tries to fight back, but the scene shifts. He is transported to the day he met Jenny, fighting off the Rangers, then reliving an argument with Jenny. He remembers how he was becoming like his father. Jenny had been waiting for a marriage proposal, but he always avoided the conversation. In his visions, Mike sees his dying mother lying on a hospital bed. The voice on the radio snaps him out of his hallucinations. The military convoy is just a few kilometers away. They are ready to pick him up, but Mike must signal them. However, to do that, he has to step off the mine. He is terrified to take that step. Hesitating, Mike watches as the military vehicles move farther away. They can't stay any longer because of approaching militants. At that moment, a gunshot rings out. Someone shoots at Mike. Armed men surround him, but he refuses to surrender. He fires back with his rifle, taking down his enemies one by one until he runs out of ammunition. Through the swirling sands, a vision of his father appears. He slowly approaches, grinning. Mike raises his pistol at him, but cannot pull the trigger on the ghost of his past. Realizing that he is finally ready to forgive, he lowers the weapon. His father embraces him. Move forward. The hallucinations vanish. Mike sees the military vehicles disappearing into the distance. He takes a step forward, picks up a smoke grenade, and steps off the mine. But nothing happens. Only now does he realize the object beneath him was not a mine but a tin can, left by the Berber's daughter. Inside it lies a toy soldier. Wounded and covered in blood, Mike collapses onto the sand, crying with relief. He ignites the smoke grenade. A red plume rises into the sky. They see him. Sappers cautiously navigate through the minefield. They evacuate Mike, administer first aid, and transport him home. At the airport, Mike walks alongside other soldiers. Around his neck hangs a chain with his dog tags and the toy soldier, the same one left by the Berber's daughter. In the crowd of people waiting, he spots Jenny. She is overjoyed to see him alive. Mike stops just a step away from her, looks into her eyes, and drops to one knee, finally ready to propose. That's all for today. Subscribe and hit the like button if you want more videos like this.